It is the 17th of July 1942. After successful operations in Finland and creating a buffer zone between ourselves and potential German forces in Norway, we are focusing on the assault against Germany. We still have to deal with the eastern situation. Japan is making further and further inroads into China, although they appear to be relatively stuck when it comes to the communist part of it. They are slowly but surely grinding their way through the rest of China. In the south, the Japanese are taking parts of the Philippines and look like they are about to overrun part of the Dutch East Indies as well as British Malaya. Fortunately, Siam, which is in an alliance with Japan, has not yet decided to invade British Malaya. But there appear to be some conflicts going on with Free France, Vichy France, and similar things in that area. So we do need to somewhat reinforce our troops on the eastern front. To that regard, we are going to train another army because we now have actually manpower, and it's just going to be one of those standard sets. We're actually going to get them to come around here. So let's get 16 regular divisions, and we're going to get 8 guard divisions out, and that'll be a full new army for the east, just in case anything kind of weird goes sideways there. We are still training a couple of tank divisions, but right now it is summer, so before the onset of winter, we need to get the first offensive operations going against Germany, and ideally we will manage to push them back to the old border in Poland. In that regard, we will start our first strike in the north through the Baltics towards Memel, and try to secure the Baltic Sea and the coastline here. We are concentrating tanks. We've currently got 2 heavy tank divisions here. But we will be sending more from the first motorized into the region. We've got a couple of tank divisions from the second motorized as well. But the rest of first motorized is more or less on counterattack duty. So we've got 2 heavy tank divisions, and I think these are still, these are with trucks still. So these are pretty good for counterattacks. But we can use these medium tank divisions, which are using the T-34s, and we can send them actually up north as well. So let's get them onto a front line here. Not quite sure. I think these are 6 divisions from a different. This is from the second motorized, yes. So we're gonna get these 3 medium tank divisions. And the 2 heavy divisions are going to have to hold the front line here by themselves, so in case of necessary counterattacks. But with the Luftwaffe defeated, that should no longer be a massive problem. So we are going to widen the assault a little bit and potentially get across the river here. So we'll get these onto a front line here, and they will be part of this operation to try and widen it towards the south if necessary, while the 6 divisions from the second motorized are going to try and push through here, and then obviously the regular infantry divisions will be pushing through as well. Do we have a couple more tanks that we can utilize? We haven't really needed to do any counterattacks here, so we may as well. Let's see, we've got 4 divisions here, so maybe let's take 2 out of those. And it gets a little confusing now here. Which one? These were the 6 divisions. It should be this one. Let's see. Or did I? Yeah, no. I just added the tank divisions to the wrong army. Okay. Go back there. It's fine. We'll just send you over here as reinforcements. And we've got these 2 tank divisions as well. If I can find. This is the 6 divisions. First motorized, 6th army. These are from the motorized, I think. Yes. Okay, so we can add them here. And the 2 tank divisions that are on the move, these 2, we can add them here as well. Okay. So now we've got, I think, sufficient tank forces in the area to make that push here. I am sending the victorious 10th Army that has taken over Red Finland down to the south to reinforce our troops here, because we are the Germans are still trying to break us around Venetia. And I also would like to take the mountain forces out of this and bring them up north and help reinforce the Finland line against a potential push into Norway. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the east. Now, the Luftwaffe has been defeated relatively thoroughly, so there's not an awful lot of it left. A couple of fighters over, and most of these actually Italians, and a couple of fighters over in the south, but not very much. So we can start concentrating. Air force here as well in the north. We have a heavy. Oh, this is a heavy fighter wing that has been trained. These guys can just go on interception. They should have the range. Yeah, they have all the range from there. So they can go into interception over the Baltics, because that's where we're going to be fighting. And we've got 2 close air support wings here. We'll relocate them north as well and get them on the Baltic front. Do I still have anything sitting in the north? I do not. So we can probably just pull the close air support. Most of these are fighter wings. That's a tactical bomber wing. Don't really need that. Where do we have more close air support wings? There should be a couple more, if I'm not completely mistaken. Where did I put them? This is all fighters. Yeah, these are all fighter wings. Have we ground down this heavily, or have I no, oh, there they are. I've already put them here. Okay. So these are already sitting on the Baltic states. That's on the Baltic states. So we have crushing air superiority, so we can make that attack happen as soon as the tanks are there. And I am going to switch onto the offensive now. So I am thinking flexible organization, just for more division speed, and alternatively we could go with operational reserves as well, or victory or death. But I think I'm quite fond of division speed. Although this would give us additional endurance against the Germans, but we'll need to wait for 50 army XP anyway until we can do that. Anything we need to change in the air? We currently have something to do with the air accidents because that's still not very great. That's experience gain. That's just designing air advisor. That's okay. And we've got veteran instructors. I think we can switch to continuous strike here and focus more on the impact of our CAS. So let's do that. We are, I think, pretty much done with what I wanted to get done in the air doctrine tree. So we don't really need anything there anymore. We still got two more to do on the land doctrine, but we should have the army experience soon. Okay, how are the supply lines looking? That's the next thing we need to check. So the important, we need to capture these supply ports here along the line up to Vilnius, and we can increase the salient south if we want to, all the way up to Minsk. But this is forest. Forest is not the greatest territory for tanks. So we will see how that goes, but these plains here should be a good breakthrough area. We just need to get across the river. That's going to be the trickiest bit in the beginning. All right, let's get everything into position and just keep a quick eye on the ongoing fights here. Okay, this all seems to be fine. They have ceased their assaults for now, so the infantry can dig in again. And we actually have enough. What was I planning to do with my... Oh yeah, material designer. I would like, I think, an artillery designer. Yes, let's get that done. And do we have any operations that we can start? We are getting a really good picture of what Germany is capable of at this point, and we've actually got one more operative who have from the liberation, who we can probably start sending over to Italy, because we have seen some Italian planes and things, so it'd be good to know. But the Germans are not in the greatest shape anymore. They still have a considerable amount of infantry, 3 million troops deployed, compared to we're roundabout on equal terms here. The difference being that we don't have to deal with a two-front war, whereas the Germans actually have to deal with an allied incursion, because Spain has joined the Allies. So things might be a little stretched for them there, and obviously, yeah, the Luftwaffe is defeated to all intents and purposes. So let's see if we can break their spirit. What are we missing here? Strat bombers. That's fine. Okay. So for now, let's just there's movement along the front lines. Some tanks are moving around while our machines are getting in place. Just keeping an eye on any kind of attacks. They're still trying to break through here in the south while the summer is ongoing. Engineer Company 3 is done. That, I think, gave us better entrenchment. So that's something. I think I would like to go and improve artillery at this point. So, because that will allow us, that'll improve our tanks, and that'll allow us to get, I believe, that allows us to get better cannons. It doesn't say what the caliber is, but this should be something like 75, 76 millimeter. So let's get that researched. We have sunk another convoy. Our submarines have been effective to a degree. I haven't looked at the Navy in ages, but I think our naval production is also relatively minimal. We are producing some destroyers, but we only have a couple of dockyards, so there's not an awful lot going on all in all, but nothing that we need to worry about. Yeah, many redeployments along the front line. We've got green air everywhere, so any kind of German attempts at attacking, unless they get significant reinforcements from their allies, are not going to happen. It looks like Spain is making inroads here in the south into Vichy France from the Barcelona front. They have been sort of stopped at Bordeaux, but we will see if the Germans will redeploy and actually make something happen here. And do we have all the tanks in place now? I think we have most of the tanks in place. Nope, something is still moving about. Oh no, these are the troops coming into the south here. So what we can do, we've now got the 10th Army here. We can remove their where's the 10th? That would be the 10th. They can join Army Group South, and we are going to get the first motorized to join Konev in Army Group North. That makes sense. And that'll allow us to redeploy the 10th Army along the defensive line here. So we will get them to join this line, and that means we can start taking the special forces, which are right here. Yeah, the Mountain Corps, we can start bringing them up north. I'll just wait for the 10th to get into position. And then I'll pull the Mountain Corps out, because that might overstretch our supply network here a little bit. But we will see. We will see what that'll look like. Okay, so 10th is moving into position, and once they are, once they're dug in, then we will start moving the Mountain Corps out, and I think that should be good enough. So let's give there they are. Let's give the Mountain Corps I'm just gonna give them a can we actually no. I'm just gonna give them a fallback line along the border to Finland here. Not that I'm expecting Finland to start anything. I just want them to be ready in case they need to intervene on Finnish territory. So we're moving the Mountain Corps up the southern lines here. Potentially, once they are all moving. Okay, not one division, all of them, please. Thank you. Okay, Mountain Corps is moving out after the long stint in the southern front, and we have a decision to deal with. Oh, we've lost one of our aces. They come, they go. But can we run any kind of propaganda for this? 7% is the division recovery rate. That might not be a terrible thing. Or we can use reduce the training time again to get the Eastern. I'm probably going to be going with this one for now. So the motherland calls everybody to the front, get that training done, so we can get these divisions out into the east and get everybody ready, just in case. All right. So Mountain Corps is underway, which means we can, I believe, launch the offensive at this point. So we are going to. I'm going to slow this a little bit down first because we've got a couple of divisions here to manage. So the spearhead is going to be done by the tank divisions. So let's get let's see if we can we've got all, can we select all the tanks? Yeah, we've got all the tanks selected here. That should not be a problem breaking through this German defense here, even though we are getting across the river. So the target is to target of the first, and we might split that up a little bit. Okay, so let's begin with we've got 2 medium tank divisions here. What is the supply situation? I think the southern thrust is going to push towards Vilnius for starters, and we've got 2 more tank divisions here, which I will get to try and widen this line to supply a southern belt around Vilnius. And then we've got 2 more divisions here. They can do the same in the north, just towards that line here. And I believe that leaves us with another 2 heavy tank divisions. We can also use them as the direct push towards Vilnius. And we will move the infantry up as well. At the same time, we will get the 3 tank divisions here from the 1st motorized to break out into the to get across the river, break out into the fields, and try to capture this supply point here, whereas the 2 tank divisions from the 2nd motorized are going to push through here and try to support the offensive from the north. And then we will see if we can once we have these moves made, we will start pushing towards Memel. So let's get that started, and we can get the infantry to support these assaults. And the same here. Let's see if we can actually make it across. Now this will be interesting. We do have air superiority, and the problem obviously being that we are on a river crossing, which significantly reduces our attack and breakthrough. But we have some infantry to assist with the assault. Well, let's see if we can make it across the river, or if this initial assault is going to fail, and we will need some assistance here. I don't think we have the no, we don't have the improvised bridges. Okay, it looks like, despite significant aerial superiority, let's double check that we have everything in the air here. This should all be on the Baltic states. Yes, we've got everything on close air support on the Baltics, close air support wings on the Baltics, and we've got 100% mission efficiency. We've got almost 800 close air support planes in the air, but we're doing damage to enemy divisions, but we do have enemy fighters in the air here as well. So the Luftwaffe seems to be concentrating their last-ditch reserves, which means we can probably just relocate a couple more fighter wings here, just to make sure that we support this correctly. And let's see if we can break through and make it across the river. Once we break through across the river, things would get better. The problem obviously being that it is a river crossing, so we have a significant reduction of breakthrough and attack, which means while we are sort of relying more on the air situation here to help us across the river by just relentlessly bombing the German planes, and we are doing damage to the enemy divisions, as is very obvious in here, but at the same time we are also struggling to get sufficient divisions, because it's a very narrow front, to get sufficient divisions on site to actually make it across. So we might have to. Okay, so these initial operations are unsuccessful by the looks of it, and do not look like they're going to be able to break this. Let's have a quick look at the first battles. Okay, this is actually ongoing, so it's not going to show up there yet. But I think we're going to stop the initial assault, because that proves the German defenses across the river line prove to be too strong. Let the divisions recover, and then we will try to concentrate the assault more. Now, what I would love to see is, can we assault these? Do we have a territory where we can assault? Yes, we've got a territory here. So we're going to move. We are going to extend the first motorized over here to make sure they are covering this area, and that should mean that we've got some tank divisions moving over, because I would like to widen the front lines and get more divisions assaulting potentially this area here, and see if we can get across the river. In the south, it does not look like we will be able to get across easily, because we can't bring enough to bear. Okay, 3 civilian factories and non-aggression pact from Spain. We shall accept that. How are we supply-wise in this concentration here? We are still okay, but we are suffering somewhat. So let's get the railways upgraded here, and just to make sure we're getting additional supply in. And we will. What else do we need to do? I think we need more military factories, to be honest, because we are still, we've still got lacking production capacity here. So build me more military factories. Do we have a good spot to build some of them? Yes, we do. We've got some. I'm just looking for areas that have good infrastructure where we can start building some, and haven't done so yet. Okay, a bunch of military factories, 2 more here, 1 more there, and then we can potentially build a couple more civilian factories just to maintain our efficiency here. And we have now secured Leningrad, so it's fine to build a couple more there. And then let's see if we can upgrade our radar stations anywhere. Where do we have? No, radar stations are already fully upgraded. That is good. And we have a massive fuel storage, so that's not really an issue either. Okay, that gets these guys entertained. All right, let's attempt that again and see if we can assault from the north. And we'll just do a concentrated assault for this time around on this area and support that with infantry. Okay, let's see. That is a significantly higher combat width, so let's see if we can open up the attack here with the help of some planes, and see if we can get across these rivers. Otherwise we might, if we're not getting across here, and we have now a research slot, we might actually have to start building some specialized forces to enforce river crossings. Because I think even with the area of superiority, this might not actually be as easy as it looked initially. So the Germans holding on there across the river line. Okay, what were we gonna do next? propaganda campaigns. We can get ourselves a 3% factory output using the Stakhanovite movement, named after a very, very efficient worker. We can't quite do the IS-2 just yet, but we can further improve our army, and that might not be a bad thing. Alternatively, this is going to... We can improve the designer bonuses here. That would be something we could do as well. Or we could further improve our aircraft. But honestly, I think army at this point is going to be something that's interesting. Desperate measures is still active, so we can't do lessons of war just yet. And oh, that's why the Cowed by Stalin is still there, because we haven't actually done lessons of war. That explains that. So we could just get some climate bonuses, but the other ones we could do down here. Can't do any of these yet. Oh, because we haven't done enough propaganda. That's why. So we can't do any of Stalin's thing. I think actually we might support the communists in China, because I am somewhat concerned about the East. So that might not be bad. We'll do that because we are already creating an army for the East, and we have a free slot now. It looks like we might have to do something about our river crossing problem. Now we could build amphibious tanks to get across, because these things actually, the problem is we'd need a lot of them. That gets us a 40% attack bonus across rivers, but they're pretty dreadful anywhere else. The alternative is we could create marine battalion, because they also get attack bonuses across rivers, and they're not as useless anywhere else. So maybe we do both. Maybe we do a combined river crossing with amphibious tanks. So I'm going to do these first, and just in case we're not getting across. In fact, you know what? Let's do Marines first, because that is taking a little bit longer. But we are. We'll see if we actually need it, because the Germans are also very much out of supply here, so they are taking relatively severe penalties. It's just that we don't have enough firepower to get across. So the river crossing is severely. River crossing into the forests is difficult here. So let's run that. We'll let that attack run its course for a little bit, and see if we can manage to break through these German infantry positions here. Otherwise, we might have to revert back to holding for the time being. Or what we could do is we could launch the attack from the south and try to. Oh, we're actually getting serious assaults here from Romanian forces, trying to cross the river in the south and to relieve the attack on the German forces in the north. But yeah, I don't see us breaking through this. I think we are going. Oh, maybe with air support we can break through it. We will see. The air battle is definitely raging in the north here. Just double checking that we've got green air over Ukraine. We do. We've just pulled the close air support off. But yes, the air battle is still raging with the remnants of the Luftwaffe. And we are doing some damage to the enemy divisions. But I think... okay, our bombers aren't actually being disrupted significantly. So that is good, so we don't need additional fighters here to make that happen. But I have doubts that we're going to get across here. That may have to be called off for now. So let's call off the attacks and not waste men. First assaults were unsuccessful. What am I looking at? We are looking at, yeah, we have some losses, not massive. We have these are against Romania, but it's not quite working yet to get across there. So the other alternative that we obviously have, and has this calmed down? Yes, it has. The other alternative that we have is to try and force a breakthrough in the south. The problem being that we would have to try and take out Romania in a more fluent engagement, going through the south here. So let's see what the supply situation is here. It's not the greatest. So supporting an armored assault along these lines here might be more difficult. And it would just bring us a salient, but it wouldn't necessarily bring us an opportunity for a breakthrough. So we might. It would be a sort of pushing match here, and they're trying to capture supply points. And there's nothing here supply-wise for a long while, so any kind of assault in this direction would be difficult. I think we're going to try that again in the future, but with potentially with some marine divisions leading the charge, getting across the river, and we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, we do have to get our army of the east going, and I think I'm going to. How far away is the? It's still 25 days away. I just want to make sure I can always deploy these divisions if they become necessary. But yep, I think assaulting Germany once we're getting across the river and getting some mobility going here is going to work a lot better than what we have right now. For now, we will remain in a defensive stance, and we can have a quick look and see if we can assist. Oh. It looks like Japan is being pushed back even, if we can assist the Chinese here. And it looks like Japan is being pushed back on a lot of fronts, to be honest. They looked a bit further when I looked last. Anyway. Alright, that was our first attempt at an assault against the Germans. Experience has shown that crossing the river into these defenses isn't going to be quite as easy as it looked like. The other option, obviously, is we can try and break out through the Vitebsk defensive lines. And maybe that's what we'll be trying next, just while we are preparing the river lines. So I will just move the assault lines here. Okay. Oh, desperate measures is over. Cool. So now we can do the other things. Now we can move the. We can start moving the tanks into. Let's see, where do we have the tanks here? That is not Konev, on Hugh, and only. Okay, I'm gonna sort that out between episodes because that's gonna be tedious. But the idea would be to set up an offensive line near Vitebsk, and such that we don't have to do the river crossing. The problem remain, and then try to widen this and push the Germans out towards Minsk, and see if we can relieve some of the pressure here along these lines and make something happen. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.